Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sleeper Hole podcast, where there is no disqualification on the topics and falls count anywhere. I am your host, Priest, and we've got a great show for you tonight. But first and foremost, let me also introduce the host of 217 Radio, in my opinion, the big guy, the big Una, Pickett.
I told you to stop making weight comments. What's going on, man?
Not much. Also, as people will see on our live feed with Facebook, we have two new hosts. These are actually going to be with me from here on out. Let me introduce them one at a time, have them give a little brief about them. First off, Taylor. And first and foremost, happy 21st birthday, Taylor.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
Tell them about yourself.
Well, I've been watching wrestling for God knows how long, and I've always loved it. Like, from the first time I watched the Triple Threat TLC match with Edge, and yeah, you guys know that one. And here lately, since I was like 10, I've been in the independent scene. Been going to shows every chance I get and watching those shows.
Alright, also with us is one of my longtime friends. He's a gamer, he's a big nerd like me, and he also likes wrestling. He goes by the alias of Zombie. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thanks, Priest. And really, when it comes to wrestling, I mean, it's kind of been a tainted past, I'd say. But I started watching way back in the days of the Monday Night Wars. And honestly, it's something I love, and I'm glad I'm getting back into the whole scene.
Well, again, welcome both of you guys. I'm glad to have you on the team. Keep an eye on these guys. They're going to be awesome. I already have a great feeling about this. But let's get this ball rolling. First and foremost, as always, we start off about news and rumors. First thing I want to talk about is Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels actually has his first movie that he's starring in coming right up soon. It's The Resurrection of Gavin Stone. For those who don't really know, it seems, from what I gathered, it's going to be kind of like a Christian comedy type thing where the main character is trying to play as Christ for Jesus Christ Superstar, really has no idea what he's doing, really messes everything up, and from the small part of the show of Shawn Michaels, he's like basically an ex-con who has found religion and is trying to help guide this guy. So I think it's great, but I'm going to wait till it comes out on DVD, personally.
Yeah, I'm not going to waste my money in the theater for that.
Yeah,
and from what I've seen of the trailer, I mean, it looks like it might be a decent movie, but like you, I'm going to wait till it's out in the stores.
There's way too many other good movies out, which if you guys ever pay attention to the Geek Awakens, they give out a great list of movies coming up, and I don't have enough money to go see all those movies.
True story. Actually, neither do we. I was actually going to talk to you. So, run this by me one more time. What is the synopsis of this film?
Okay, so basically from what we gather, this guy who has no religious background, doesn't really follow religion or anything else, he wants to be in a musical play called Jesus Christ Superstar.
Right.
Which most people know about it. It was what's the guy's name who made it? It's the same guy who did Phantom of the Opera.
Right.
He made the thing, this guy's trying to be Jesus on it. He's actually starts to try to look and act the role on a regular basis even at one point. But he has no idea what he's doing. He has no knowledge about religion or anything else. He's really making everybody else appalled by him.
That's hilarious.
But it's basically where he finds himself and finds religion. And Shawn Michaels, Heartbreak Kid, plays as like an ex-con who does help him along his way.
Interesting.
Well, he's doing it for community service.
Okay.
So he's a bigger actor that actually gets involved with the
more
church
of a key role, yeah.
And wants to do the acting because technically it's still part of the community service, and he's trying to basically give them all of what he thinks that he knows about acting, but they're trying to also give him what they know about
the religion.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a good thing. Now, another great topic about the news and rumors, which anybody who's watched the shows will know that these 4 names have now been put inside the Royal Rumble. Again, we'll get more in depth with that when it comes to Prediction Day, but I do want to mention these as they pop up. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, The Miz, and the Phenom, The Undertaker, are now officially in the Rumble. This is looking to be a very hyped up, great Rumble coming up.
Definitely. I hope it holds that hype still.
Yeah.
I've never been disappointed with the Rumble so far, and honestly, if they do disappoint me on this one, I would be shocked because there's always something amazing that makes me always remember those shows. So those are the main rumors that I know about. Is there anything small that you guys may know about, or anything that you guys want to hype real quick before we move to the results?
Actually, I just read an article that it's been not really confirmed yet, but the plans that had Taker facing Cena from the Universal title at Mania has been nixed, and that Undertaker is now going to face Braun Strowman.
That could be good. Monster versus monster. So we'll see if that rumor becomes a reality. I mean, more likely it'll further develop with the Rumble. The Rumble's always the kickoff to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Like they've never done that though before.
Well, yeah, I mean, Taker, Kane, and everything else. You never know. So, I mean, we'll keep an eye out for that. And definitely we'll give you guys more of an update as the weeks progress. But let's move on to the actual Monday Night Raw results. First of all, Braun Strowman went up against Seth Rollins, and they resulted in a double countout. The match was basically thrown as both lost because they were both got the 10 count outside the ring. Jack Gallagher defeated Drew Gulak. Big Cass, one of my favorite characters, defeated Jinder Mahal. Neville, the king of the cruiserweights, defeated Lince Dorado, I believe is how it's pronounced. Sheamus defeated Luke Gallows. Charlotte and Nia Jax teamed up to defeat Sasha Banks and Bayley. Sad to see my girl get beat up, whatever. Kofi Kingston defeated Titus O'Neil. And the big news of Raw is Y2JKO, as I like to call him, Y2J, Chris Jericho, and Kevin Owens had a 2-on-1 handicap match against Roman Reigns. They won with Chris Jericho becoming the United States champion for the first time ever in his career. He has officially now held every prestigious title. Personally, congratulations, Chris Jericho. It's about
I don't
time.
see anybody else that deserves that honor.
Definitely. I mean,
It's one of those.
The whole board of it.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you, with a big name like Jericho, who's always been there, always been a support. You know, in my opinion, once they hit all those prestigious landmarks, then they can retire happy. And I think that's where it's going to. Is eventually, I think he wants to focus on his band.
Yeah.
So that works. SmackDown, of course, 2-hour show, less results. We have Nikki and Natalya had a no contest in their match because it never really started. It was a sheer out catfight brawl, brutal as can be, but there was never an official ring of the bell. This is going to keep going until we have a big match of the Rumble. I can guarantee it, and I already know who I'm rooting for, but we're going to get to that later on. Kalisto, Dolph Ziggler, they had a match. Kalisto got revenge after Dolph Ziggler sucker kicked him at the previous week. American Alpha actually defeated the Wyatt family for a second time. They're on a good hot streak. I have to give them props. Carmella defeated CJ Lund, I believe I pronounced. I don't know. I tried to pay attention to those parts, but honestly, I was more humored by JBL making fun of Barrowman, what is his name? The one that they all make fun of.
Byron Saxton?
Yes, it's not Saxton. Saxton's Raw. It's the
I'll say I'm drawing
it's the one that's
right
like
now.
he's in Fuego, whatever his name is.
Oh.
Yeah,
that
I never remember his name because
Yeah.
I personally am not a big fan of him, but whatever.
Yeah.
John Cena actually beat Baron Corbin. He put the big man down to kind of prove himself, but this is far from over. Like I said, Baron Corbin's still a force to be reckoned with, so don't count him out yet. Those are really the results. A lot of things going on. We still have 2-3 weeks before the Rumble. Anything can happen. Yeah, 2 weeks. So
Anything can happen.
it's going to be great. Now, one thing I promised everybody last week is that we're going to do the series of what makes a wrestler. And this is why I'm really glad to have these guys, because both of them have known the independent world as well as the professional world. Both of them kind of have a bit of an insight. I know, like, for Pickett here, he doesn't know much about wrestling, so to him, he may have some input, but most likely he's going to be like,
Right. Yeah, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I'm just here.
just a presence in the room, huh?
That's right.
Like the force.
Exact. No, I'm the force.
There you go.
I like it. No,
We
man.
can't see him, but his presence is felt no matter what's going on until you press that button to turn this broadcast off.
It's typically just the stink for these guys.
He is the 100% color
thank
commentary.
God for not having smell-o-vision, right? Because you guys are not knowing what we're suffering through right now for this broadcast. I mean, come on.
Pickett is honestly like our 100% color commentary. He has no idea about the stuff, but he definitely gets some good witty one-liners in
Do what
there.
I can.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do what I
Oh,
can.
Yeah, that's why, you know, back when we did other shows, that's one thing I loved, is that we could bounce off in great one-liners here and there. But let's talk about what makes a wrestler. And we got 3 points that we're going to talk about first off here. The first one is you've got to take care of yourself and your own health.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
A lot of people, I know, when they think of the WWE, yeah, they have their own medical staff. They probably have enough to be either insured by the WWE, or they even have, since they're contracted, their own insurance that they elected themselves. A lot of these local people, they don't have that luxury from the company.
Oh,
So they need to either get insurance from their work, or like right now, they'll go through like healthcare.gov. They need that stuff to get themselves protected because they get hurt. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, they pull punches, or oh, they don't really make contact with the chair. No, they do make contact with the chair. Trust me, I've been there.
when you're that close to it, and then you actually hear the
Yeah.
impact of the steel chair or whatever.
Yeah, it's
the chair
sometimes
is.
scary.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I've made contact with the chair before. I've taken the bumps. I've taken the chops. I've had all that stuff. I don't have the knees for it anymore, thank God, because honestly, I don't think I want to get my butt kicked anymore. But I've
sure
seen
about
those
that?
guys. I've seen those guys get so injured that even I had to rush them to the emergency room. You know, and it's not a joke. I mean, that they really need to make sure they watch out for themselves. Thankfully, now with the Affordable Care Act, it's almost mandated, so they all will have to have insurance. But before that, there's a lot of times I have to rush somebody to the hospital, and that's the first thing they ask is, well, do you have insurance? No, I can't afford it. And all I could do was cringe because they're sitting there with this, a concussion or something, and it's like, well, how the heck are you going to pay this? So you got to take care of yourself. You got to take care of your health.
And not just a physical health though either. We're also talking about like your
Oh, yeah.
mental
Oh,
health
yeah.
too.
You got a great point.
Because if you think about it, like these people that are doing this, they're participating in not just a physically straining job, but they're also dealing in something that's could potentially be very stressful on the brain.
Oh,
Not
yes.
just physically, but
Oh yeah.
It's emotionally exhausting, all the stuff they have to put forward, the things they have to do. I mean, I've also seen before where one wrestler, and this was actually, it was a local show, but not here in Springfield. They were using a kendo stick,
Okay.
and they hit it. You could swear the guy was just home run swinging against somebody else's back, and it splintered off, and part of the splinter actually hit one of the fans. And the guy broke character to make sure the guy was okay, which,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you know, I always applaud a wrestler when they do that, even though
Yeah.
I'm usually a big kayfabe, don't you dare break character.
Yeah.
But when a fan's health or safety is at stake, sorry about that, guys. when a fan, their health and safety is at risk, it's okay to break character because that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because without them, there is no
Yeah,
care.
Amen, amen. And so they checked on them, and I mean, I even kept up with the wrestler who accidentally had it splinter. I checked up with them regularly because I talked to a lot of them on Facebook, and it really beat him up for the longest time. You could tell it did a lot of damage mentally to him because he's like, I've never hurt a fan before. I don't want this to be on my reputation. I also don't want that fan to hate me. I don't know if I should ever take a risk again using a weapon in a match. And it's like, the weapon part you can control.
Mm-hmm.
As for the other stuff, the fan was nice to you. You were nice to the fan. You even, signed the broken part of the kendo and gave it to him as a gift. I mean, there's a lot of things that, you had to re-coach them to make them know it's going to be okay. And even then, it's like, I can't guarantee that it didn't keep him up at night at times.
Well, not the interaction with the fan, but also the when you flip it around where the fan is brutal toward the wrestler itself. And as much as, the person wants to hold character and be tough and be that person that can just let that stuff bounce off of them, it's still going to be in their brain. It's still going to be, they're still going to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whether
yeah.
they're characters or not, they're still human beings.
Exactly. And that's you bring up a perfect point, and I'm going to give one more example because that actually fits into another flip of that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a show where I was actually helping out with, and because people associated a wrestler with me, they were cheering him on, even though he was supposed to be the heel.
Mm-hmm.
And so the guys had to flip the script where the guy who was supposed to be the face became the heel, vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the face called the lady a fat word I can't say right now because we're keeping it PG.
Big Gordon.
And her
Hopefully it was a
husband
big word anyway.
blocked him from the entryway after the match, demanding he apologizes to her or he's going to kick his butt. And I mean, I had to shoot up real fast in my seat, put my arms over my head, do an X symbol to let the people in the back know, hey, we got a serious issue here. It's not an injury, but we need to get these guys apart because the one wrestler he's on pure adrenaline. He's not going to back down. And this drunk idiot is going to cause a fight. What do? We got to get them separate. Yeah. And I talked to the guy in the back afterwards, and he's like, dude, I don't even want to leave the building until I know that guy is gone because I don't want him coming after me or doing something to my car or whatever. I can't blame him. When a guy is drunk off his butt, or even when they're sometimes not drunk, they can be very unstable. Mm-hmm. You've got to watch out for yourself.
Once the adrenaline starts flowing on either side, it's hard for it to
Oh, yeah. So that's the first key point. The second one is one that any trainer will tell you, even if you're not doing wrestling, if you're just going to the Fit Club or wherever else gyms that are around here, you've got to keep yourself in shape.
Shameless key.
Yeah, well, yeah, it wasn't meant to be, but I guess it was. I mean, not only, I got to be beefy and strong and, stealing a favorite joke I heard just earlier today is, you don't need to be the guy that goes in the gym saying, hey, I need to find a vet because these pythons are sick. You don't need to be that guy. Yeah, you got to have the endurance. Yeah. That's what I talk about with staying in shape. Yeah, they're maybe doing a 5 or 10 minute match, but they're doing it non-stop motion most of the time. If they don't keep themselves in healthy shape by good diet, exercise, and endurance, they're gonna I can't remember what the technical term is called, but they're basically gonna powder out. They're gonna burn up real fast.
Oh yeah, their stamina is just gonna go through the floor, and they're not going to be able to even maintain it. They're going to end up probably falling over with a heart attack at a young age.
Yeah. I mean, that was the hardest part for me when I was actually training back in the day. Back in the day when I was training, I could do a bump like there was no tomorrow. I could do certain, moves or take certain moves with no problem, like there's no tomorrow. But you tell me to run the ropes, and I'm sitting there act like I'm a 40-year-old smoker. It was just brutal to me because I was not in proper shape. So, I mean, that's something that you got to think about. And, I mean, I love giving these pointers out because I hope that if we do have certain listeners who are aspiring to one day try their luck at the squared circle, keep these in mind. Yeah. Some of these may be eventually from people who are part of the ring, but a lot of these are going to be from, like myself who tried or who's been in the business side and seen all that stuff. The last one, of course, is the long road of training. People think you can go in 6 months, bam, you'll be right inside that ring.
Oh, no.
By a how do I put this nicely? By somebody who doesn't want to take the role serious and not truly wanting to train you, sure. But then you're going to be having the reputation of being a backyarder for the rest of your life. You're going to be hazed.
Want that.
Yeah, you're going to be hazed. Now, one person who I've seen, and I don't really remember his actual legit name, so I'm not going to use his character name because I know he doesn't want me to, but the head trainer of PWA, he does it the right way. All right, you're going to use the medicine ball, you're going to use the sledgehammer on the tire, you're going to do all these things to help build up the strength and endurance, and then you're going to run the ropes, or you're going to take bumps, or you're going to do this or that. He does a full-on core training, and I've seen him take on guys who are very overweight, very exhausted, very out of it, to where now I watch them in a match and I'm like, dang, they are excellent at what they do. You've got to have that dedication because the long road of training is seriously that, the long road. What would you say probably is, okay, you've been around for a lot of PWA. Yeah. What would you say is the fastest and the longest time you've probably seen somebody go from recruit to ring ready that you may know of? I think I got him stumped, boys and girls.
Sounds like it. Or doesn't sound like it.
Well, I know one from just his experience in PWA, but the guy that just went down to Texas went by the name of Roscoe.
I love Roscoe. That's my boy.
He actually trained, had his first couple matches, and then he was a superstar within, instantly.
Yeah, I mean, he picked up quick. But, I mean, I would say he was one of the few that probably within a year's time he was ready.
Yeah.
And that's being realistic, guys. At the at the least, a year's time is probably gonna be. For most people, it's gonna be maybe 2 years, because you're gonna fine tune things, and there's a lot more that's gonna make you into a wrestler that we aren't touching today, but we will eventually.
But on that same topic, no matter how many years you've been in business, you're gonna find things also.
And that's kind of one thing that I like, that even though I'm a big fan of kayfabe, I always did like with the WWE when they introduced Tough Enough.
Yes.
It showed you a bit of the nitty gritty, brutal training that they go through. Now, originally it was all, here's the training for in-ring.
Yeah.
This last Tough Enough, even though I didn't like the fact that it was the fans voting who stays and who goes, and I will always gripe about that, especially if they ever do it again, I did like that they showed, here's what they're learning in the ring, but on their time off, they're over here in the weight room.
Yeah.
They're over here pushing their endurance. And there's some people who made it who probably shouldn't have because of endurance and anything else, even though they were the most charismatic and likable person. But you know what? You can be the most charismatic person, but if you can't run the ropes, if you can't lift somebody, you're going to have problems. And the main thing is, for example, Zombie and I could probably lift each other and do a scoop slam. Could we do it safely and not hurt each other? That's the real question. That's why the long road to training happens. Is anybody can learn how to do a move, but to truly learn how to do it effectively and not injure yourself or the person you're working with, whole different dynamic.
Difference between the backyard trained and the trained that actually properly trained. It's like the difference between a chess match and a checkers game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between watching it on TV and trying it in your living room, and actually getting trained and knowing how to do it.
Doing it in your living room with a couple of mattresses and some pillows on the floor versus doing it in an actual squared circle with the ropes and it's totally different thing.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those kids that did that. I mean,
we all did.
Who did set up the couches, and my cousins and I, we all pretended we were our favorite superstars. And the whole thing with the long road training, not hurting yourself or the others. The best example I can give, and I always go to this guy because he is my absolute number one favorite wrestler of all time, Bret Hart, has the best record of never injuring himself and never injuring somebody he was in the ring with. He is one of the few wrestlers who can hold that prestigious right to say that.
And even though I hate his guts, I think another one that's just like that is The Miz.
Yeah, The Miz is, you know what? I'll give you that. Mike The Miz has, I think, never caused an injury. He's arrogant, he's brash, but that's kind of why I like him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right.
I definitely have to agree with you on Bret Hart, though. I mean,
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the main thing there, guys. We are making this one going to be a little bit shorter than normally planned. I know we kind of sped through, but it's going to be a little bit of a shorter one because we got other things going on in the personal, real-life world that, we can't control. Life happens. C'est la vie. But you know what?
Love you.
Told you. Color commentator. There you go.
Hey, you did say la vie.
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, we will be back next week, and we are going to continue this on. We're going to have more great news, more exciting stuff. I mean, I now know that it's not going to be just me sitting there doing the research. I've got two great guys here who not only are going to, be able to say, hey, here's the results, but they may find out a rumor that I don't know. I mean, already we had Taylor give out a rumor that I had no idea about, and that's what makes this so exciting. So keep your eyes open, keep your I guess ears open too. I mean, because some people are actually listening to this on the website. So you never know. I mean, there's going to be a lot of great things, and we will try to keep you guys posted, not only with things that go on during the show, but on the group page with Facebook for Sleep Old, as well as other avenues whenever we can. I'm going to have a few little ideas I'm going to toss around to the big chief here, the man in charge, the one that he makes it all happen, and so I always give him praise because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be able to do this, Mr. Pickett.
I thought he told you not to say anything about his weight, man. Come on.
I didn't notice anything.
Well, I do what I can. It's a good show so far. I'm really getting into it, so hopefully we'll take this thing up a level and make it awesome.
kick it up a notch, right?
We got to find a way.
Wrestling.
Okay, I'm going to make an admission here before we go. Even though he doesn't watch wrestling and everything else, I want to make it eventually where I get hyped up so much that just by us talking, he has a favorite and a least favorite of the guys.
Okay.
The girls, we'll see. He might just look at one and go, "Oh, she's pretty. I pick her." But the guys, that's going to be the fun challenge.
I think we should set a deadline too. I think by Mania.
Mania might be tricky. I was going to say since we started on January.
Maybe SummerSlam.
But this is the most interesting time of the year.
True. If we do Mania, I'll think of some clever reward, prize, everything else. But the latest I want to say is by the end of the year. By the end of 2017,
Okay.
he's going to have somebody who's going to be
Somebody
like, "Hey,
next
I know
level."
so much about this person. I am all about him. I need to stop doing that in the ring."
Yes, you do.
He's going to be like, "I like this person just because of everything I heard about him." So that's going to be it, guys. This is the Sleeper Hold. Thank you so much for paying attention. We will see you next week. This is Priest signing out. Gentlemen.
See you around.